Is it worth rebuilding a 2012 Yamaha F-150? Very low hours. It's been submerged twice. This hurricane season has been rough. This clip is proudly powered by PartsView.com. They are marine parts and outboard superstore. They have 20, 100, and 300-hour maintenance kits for Yamaha, Mercury, Suzuki outboards, as well as Mercruiser. You can get a discount using the link in the descriptions below. Alec, I'm sorry to hear it. That is unfortunate, but yeah, as far as rebuilding it, it totally depends on what you're talking about with the rebuild. Being a 2012, it's 12 years old, but a Yamaha F-150 holds its value, especially if it has low hours. The issue with a submerged engine is that there's a lot of compromises that you make, because now your computer, your electronic harness, your electrical system, your harnesses, your relays, your injectors, like everything has been underwater now. So if you're talking salt water, that's an issue. It's a problem that comes into the reliability factor of the engine, because at any point in time, seeing that this electrical component was underwater and is now probably corroding, then you're looking at potential problems down the road that just out of the random, it's going to have this issue that you're going to be like, why is it doing that? And you're going to have to track down what electrical issue that you're dealing with outside of the mechanical stuff. If it's just submerged, generally, as long as you pickled it as soon as you came out of the water, which on that situation there, in and of itself, everybody needs to realize immediately. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I pickled this engine or something. You've got this outboard or this engine, this boat that goes underwater, and you pull it out, and people say, oh, that I pickled it. Did you really pickle it? So in order to pickle an engine or a boat or any of that stuff, as soon as it comes out of the water, you can't pull the boat or the engine out of the water, let it sit overnight or sit for 2-3 days and then go and put oil in it and all this other stuff. That's not pickling. As soon as the boat comes out of the water, you need to get on that engine and you need to get all the water out of it, and then you need to get new oil in it. As soon as you get new oil in it, you need to get all the old fuel, or if there's water that got in the fuel system, all that needs to come out of the boat, out of the engine, new oil in it. You need to start it and run it after you've got all the water out of it, and then let it run for, say, a minute or two, drain all the oil, and then refill all the oil again to get all the water out of it. And then you need to just let that thing run. You need to heat it up. And when it heats up, it's going to burn off any water. It's going to burn off, heat up all your electrical components and get all the water that got on them out of it. And then you're going to want to change the oil again to get all of the water out of all the little passages that are in there, and to make sure that there's oil on all the metal. You're going to want to spray it down with corrosion blocker or Corrosion X or anything at this point in time, fogging oil or a dry silicone or pretty much anything. You need to get the metal protected because it was all soaked with salt water. So that's really what pickling is. If you just drain the water, put oil in it, and start it for 2 seconds, turn it over, that's not really pickling the engine, and that engine is most likely going to have problems later on because you never got all the water out of it, and you never got oil on all of the metal parts on the inside, all of the piston rings, all the valves, all the exhaust, got all the water out, burned all the water out of the exhaust and the intake and all. There's just so much that needs to be done immediately. Otherwise, you're going to have all kinds of problems. So if you pickled the engine as soon as it came out of the water, then yeah, I would say rebuilding that thing is totally worth it. If you pulled it out of the water, it's been sitting for a week or two, then depending on what that looks like, is it worth rebuilding? I would say yes, as long as it doesn't cost you more than, say, $4,000. Because once you get up to $4,000 or $5,000 for a 12-year-old Yamaha, I would say that's probably what they're worth, anywhere from 4 to say 7, depending on the hours. So if you get up into it's going to cost you $5,000 to fix this engine, then I would say then it wouldn't be worth doing. But my guess right out the gate is that yeah, I'd be rebuilding that 150. It's a hot commodity. Everybody wants them. They live forever. So yeah, I would definitely say yes. So if you like this clip, you can watch the full podcast over here, or you can watch another clip over here.